That's pretty embarrassing play. It's about as bad as I've seen anyone get beat in a football game in all my years of watching football.
But I feel like, it just hurts because I feel like this was on my shoulders. I feel like I let the team down.
We're playing a Super Bowl team, and they took us to the woodshed tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we got our asses kicked, and we'll get better from it. And that's what happened in Denver. As you saw, we got better from it, and we'll get better. We'll get better from this one as well.
The Cowboys and former Cowboy Troy Aikman did not mince any words about that 27-7 loss on the road. We're in week 11 now, and it's Eagles week, so it is not going to get any easier. Dave, Taylor, and Manny, Cowboys not victory Monday, but still plenty of news and discussions to go around. So Dave, take us to kickoff.
Hi, I'm David Hellman, and this is the outfit that I chose to wear for tonight's show. I guess you could say I'm trying about as hard as the Cowboys tried to block Adrian Claiborne last night.
That's fair, but Dave was at the Salvation Army earlier as the Cowboys took time to give back to the community on a day after a hard loss. You were there to witness them giving back and giving people early Thanksgiving meals. So hey, Dave, at least you're trying a little bit.
Sometimes it pays to suck. Look, the NFC division leaders right now, the Rams, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Eagles, they were all in the last two in their division last year, and now they're all in first. Same can't be said about the Cowboys yesterday, but sometimes it can pay to be bad.
Oh boy, what a year it's been.
Oh boy. It's been an interesting season.
What a year.
What a year it's been. We still have a long way to go, but for now we're going to look back at last night at that game. We've got top 5 things that you may have forgotten about by choice or, maybe you just really forgot them.
Blacked them out.
Blacked them out. Number 5, we have Taylor Gabriel going for 34 yards. The Cowboys were down 10 after a missed field goal, and Taylor Gabriel just goes deep for this one.
Third down was a nightmare for this team all day Sunday, it felt like. I mean, there's this play, the opening drive of the third quarter. Again, you give up a third down twice inside the red zone, one of those leading to a touchdown to Justin Hardy. Just a brutal day. You can tell me it's because Sean Lee wasn't there. You can tell me it's because the pass rush didn't get home. Regardless, Falcons were 54% on third down. Cowboys couldn't get him off the field. It paid in the second half. It hurt them big time.
All right, number 4 on top 5 things you may have forgotten. There were some untimely penalties and some that were just kind of random. And hey, was this really warranted? Jeff Heath right here on a face mask, Manny. This thing turned into a huge play.
This was one of the most untimely. It's bad because Jeff Heath, you just want to get him down. And in the NFL, it's hard to make an open field tackle. I get that. I'm not going to be so ignorant as to speak otherwise. But this cost them because it's still a game at this point. This penalty now puts them in scoring position. They end up getting 7. But Jeff Heath, you just got to get him down without the penalty because this hurt the boys.
All right, number 3, this one was really bad. All the pregame talk, we had big names, big injuries the Cowboys were missing, and we must have forgotten Dan Bailey.
Oh, absolutely. Dan Bailey, a 38-yard field goal. You almost never even think about it because he is so clutch in these moments, especially something that's just as easy as a 38-yard field goal. Hey, it's not easy. That's why there's only 32 place kickers in the entire league. But Mike Nugent, you're expected to make those kicks. That kick would have been a huge momentum shift for this team. And guys, not only does he miss a field goal, but then that switches the field for the Falcons to have better field position. So I thought that was a huge play, very big missed opportunity. And you're right, we're all ready for Dan Bailey to come back.
Come on, Dan, no rush or anything. Number 2 on top 5 things that you might have forgotten. This is a big one, Manny. You mentioned this was a game. It was 10-7 at half, and the Cowboys had points right here and missed out on an opportunity.
Yeah, Cowboys have points. Cowboys have momentum. And ultimately, if you can go into halftime with points, that's one of the biggest things in ball. You want to start your first drive with points. You want to end your last drive of the half with points. And you want to start your first drive of the second half with points. They have the chance to go into halftime with a lead or at least a tied ball game. Now you lose that whole opportunity and you lose momentum. You can't make these kinds of mistakes on the road.
Okay, and our number 1, maybe you forgot kind of play. Hey, when Chris Jones comes on the field, it's 99% gonna be a punt, but not this time. A great throw to Bryce Butler, but he pushes off very clearly and blatantly.
Can my guy Chris Jones live, America? Like he's got the tackles, he's got the fake punt runs, he's going to add the pass to his repertoire. Bryce, keep your elbows in, man. And then, all right, that looks like a flop a little bit to me. Right?
Yeah, surprised they called that.
I mean, you get away with that if it's defense, but on a fake punt like that, on such an obvious play, They're going to call it. You got to be less direct in a situation like that. And I hate it for Chris.
And mind you, the punt is the one play where you have two officials watching the jammer and watching the gunner. Unlike most plays, you only have one. So for sure, Bryce, you had all eyes on you that time.
All right, Cowboys were forced to punt on the next play. So some of those things really shaped up the way things went. So now let's get into fact or fiction, guys. Here on Cover 4, we've got to discuss the first one. Should we have anticipated this a little bit more, knowing that Tyron Smith and Ezekiel Elliott would both be out?
I gotta say fact on this. I can speak for myself, and I know my colleagues here would probably agree. I think we were used to this team. They were on a 3-game win streak. They just beat the Kansas City Chiefs pretty dominantly at home. And I was thinking, okay, I've seen Chaz Green fill in for Tyron Smith. They have two 1,000-yard backs behind Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, we haven't had to see them miss a game without Ezekiel Elliott, but we've heard a lot of talk about it and how they would handle that. So I thought, okay, this team's going to figure it out. Now, fact, I totally forgot that this was the Atlanta Falcons that was the defending NFC champion.
Well, they put it together on this night. We said last week
the
they're going to find a
record was very deceiving.
I don't think they even looked that good for whatever it's worth. Like, they won the game.
Yeah.
They won the game. I get it, but
By 20 points.
I feel dumb for thinking that the Cowboys would be able to piece it together without, two of their best players. They lose another one.
I don't think y'all should. I really don't think y'all should.
Why not?
I say fiction because you've seen multiple teams throughout the NFL lose dominant players. The Redskins had no offensive line. The Eagles, I didn't want to say it, but since you did, the Eagles lost Jason Peters and Darren Sproles early and haven't missed a beat. The Redskins lost Trent Williams and the rest of their line and really didn't miss a beat. No, they weren't as dominant, but they kept up their same style of play. The Cowboys were really embarrassing offensively. So I can't say that we should have seen this rough a week.
I think that's, to say they lose is one thing, but as bad as they looked at times yesterday, that's something else.
Fact or fiction, the Sean Lee absence is getting kind of old, because we all know what happens when Sean Lee is not playing.
I have to say fact again on this, Lindsay, and I know it's fair. The stats, the numbers don't lie. Sean Lee not in the game makes a huge, huge difference for this team. Yes, it's getting old, but they need to figure it out defensively. We've talked about how they finally figured out some sort of pass rush with DeMarcus Lawrence, David Irving, Tyrone Crawford finding a spot there. I just have to say fact that, guys, figure out what you're going to do when Sean Lee's not there, because you've seen it time and time again. Fortunately, he's injury prone.
Fact or fiction, the Cowboys' lack of depth is their biggest weakness.
Ooh.
That's a good one by our producer, Mike.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. And honest, I'd probably say fact, just because we've had to see so much of their depth this season, whether it's Tyron, whether it's the Zeke situation, whether it's the fact that Sean Lee's looking like he will miss more games. Dan Bailey's another one. Your secondary, thank you, Tay. That's a great observation. Just you've had to rely on so many guys that you didn't want to in this season. We didn't see that much last year. But then the counter argument to that is, and I know what you just said, Manny, I'm going to disagree with you anyway. It's hard to win in this league when your best players are sitting on the bench for one reason or another. I think that's a fact.
Fact or fiction, you cannot start Chaz Green again at left tackle.
I'll actually say fiction. He played an awful game. He played the worst game of his career. You would hope we can make that statement for the entirety of his career. But okay, you saw what the backup did, and the backup came in and gave in 2 sacks in half a quarter of play. Wasn't much better. I think Chaz has to make improvements. I think the coaching has to make improvements. I think the entire Cowboys offensive scheme and structure have to be better going forward.
Fact or fiction, final one. Cowboys, do they have to find a new identity without Ezekiel Elliott on the field?
No, they just need to protect Dak. So I'm going to say fiction on this.
There you go, Tay. We're all with you.
DRK or D4K, as he had in his suit jacket, is always protected, and the superhero will live on.
Well, not only that, but how much of the run game did we even really get to see in that game? The inability to protect Dak infiltrated the rest of everything they wanted to do. I don't even think Alfred Morris and Rod Smith got a fair shake of what they can do in a balanced offense. So, no, I'm not ready to say you need an entirely new identity yet.
Let's take off all those scary highlights. Yeah, we've seen enough of Dak getting sacked. Let's do warm and fuzzy next after the break here on Cover 4, presented by JCPenney. Red ball.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor Stern inside the AT&T Media Center. Falcons defensive end Adrian Claiborne had a big day yesterday, and by reaching 8 sacks. If he's able to stay on the 53-man roster, he will get $750,000 in incentive money. So he had a big day. He might have a big payday. Stay tuned for everything inside the AT&T Media Center.
Throws a deep fake for a touchdown. Out of time, he's hit. He's sacked. Running right on it with Terrence Williams. Touchdown, Cowboys. Beasley, left side. Caught it over the shoulder. Jason Witten. Touchdown. Cowboys win.
Three tight ends in the game as Morris has his best of the day. Look at that effort. And he's on top of bodies. They could carry him right to the end zone.
This was one of the funnier plays because I feel like if they wouldn't have blown it dead, he might have carried him all the way to the end zone.
Like, he might just keep going because there's no defenders in front of him.
Exactly.
I love it. Alfred, you do you. You believe you can fly. Let's go to warm and fuzzy. There were some really great things that happened this weekend, and we all know this is Salute to Service Month in the NFL, so it's kind of a military-style addition to warm and fuzzy. First one being Dan Quinn having the Falcons of the Fallen, or the decals with the Falcons of the Fallen Heroes. Really just a nice, touching tribute, and he's very patriotic himself.
Yes, he is. He is very patriotic, and to see them, they did many things in game. Dave could tell you they were honoring them during the game, pre-game. I felt like throughout the whole
it was all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, Falcons and Cowboys both. I mean, it's a special effort for this month, and you saw it all over Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday.
Next one up for warm and fuzzy, Tay. This was pretty cool. You just said it. They were doing things all in their brand new stadium. Look at this guy rappelling down.
Yeah, all of a sudden you kind of look up and there are guys rappelling from their retractable roof that, of course, has the Halo Jumbotron around it. And that was very cool. Dave, you can give your own perspective.
No, that gave me vertigo is what that did. Like, that's awesome. That's cool, but I
Love that we got the GoPro video.
I don't belong in the military, basically. That's what I know from that.
Andy Dalton spends about an hour pregame taking photos with the servicemen and women. Just a nice, touching thing to do.
Yeah, Salute to Service, one of the coolest weeks and really multiple periods during the NFL. Yeah, as a player, you get the cool gloves, you get the towel, but more importantly, you get to meet and greet those that serve.
Pretty cool. Derek Wolfe and his brother-in-law took the field together for the Broncos. A little night football action. This is a oh my gosh,
cool.
frame
That's
this.
awesome.
That is so cool.
That is really cool. I bet that was such a special moment for the entire family, and obviously something that he has been thinking about, because this is something you'd have to plan, get it all coordinated with the entire team. And so this was probably a very special moment for the entire Wolf family.
Pretty cool moment with Josh Norman of the Redskins here giving his cleats to a Marine general. And guys, we're getting like 5 things, and I'm sure there were hundreds going on.
Every team,
on Sunday.
multiple things.
Love this. And finally, one that wasn't necessarily connected to Salute to Service. Teddy Bridgewater, obviously emotional with tears of joy after not playing for over a year.
Yeah, when you get hurt in the game of football, you never know when and even if you're going to return, particularly his injury. And this was sweet and special to see. Didn't necessarily get in the game, but just to be back on the field, padded up, seeing the flyovers, seeing all of the game day emotions, that was cool for Teddy, and salute to you.
Remember how serious it was?
I was going to say, non-contact injury in practice.
Very scary.
2 Augusts ago, like that's a long recovery.
Remember they said he might not ever play again.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm beyond happy
Huge
for
props.
Teddy.
Exciting for you to get back out there, Teddy Bridgewater. We are rooting for you down here in Frisco, Texas. Let's get to sound off. It is Philly week. Dave has been talking about this all year. Manny, obviously a former Eagle. Tay and I are along for the ride. Now, is this a must-win? That's the biggest cheeseball question ever. Every one of them are must-wins, but you know what I mean.
I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to say no because I'm sticking to my guns that I've said all along. The division was probably the Eagles when they only had 1 loss 7-8 weeks into the season. The Cowboys, even if they lose this game, they have 5 losses. If you go 11-5, you're going to make the playoffs. So this is not a must-win ball game. Beat the Seahawks later on. The Falcons was more important because that's for wild card spots. This is not a must-win ball game, but you do want to look much more competent offensively and defensively without Sean Lee.
Dave, do you want this team to go on Sunday Night Football and just embarrass themselves again?
No.
And lose to Carson Wentz just dominantly? I personally do not. I want to see this team. And you know what? I'm going to steal a line from Brian Broaddus. This is a Jason Garrett special. He's going to have everyone down and out about this team. Everyone's going to be talking about how Carson Wentz is the MVP. No doubt, Coach Peterson going to win it all. And Coach Garrett, the hero that we all know and love, is going to come right in there and lead his team to a victory.
No, wouldn't that be so Cowboys-esque to just come in and dominate the Eagles after they've had a whole week of rest?
Lindsay.
What you
Get
got,
ready
Dave?
for it.
What you got?
Win or you know what? I'm gonna tip of the cap to you. Because the Eagles are gonna win the division. I've been saying it since week 4. Yeah, honestly, I don't see this as a must-win because I think
see that.
that loss in Atlanta probably cemented the NFC East. I would be shocked if the Cowboys can win the division at this point. That would take an amazing collapse by Philly and an amazing effort by the Cowboys. So with that in mind, I'm thinking more about the Cowboys as a wild card team, which, yeah, it would be nice to beat your rival. It would be nice to stay above 500. I don't think this is a must-win in terms of getting a wild card spot.
Sorry, Dave, you can't get a Run the East long sleeve
No,
t-shirt
you don't get a
again.
Cowboys Run the East t-shirt this year. I don't
We'll
think.
all squeeze into
Way
it
to go,
once
Manny.
from a couple seasons ago. Manny, we are out of time, so take us to OT, bud.
Go into OT. On a much more serious note, close friend, former teammate of mine at Texas, Marquise Goodwin, current receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. You may have already seen the story. He lost his child Sunday morning, pre-birth, and now he scored a touchdown. It was a phenomenal moment for him, but more importantly, look up that story. Praying for you, Marquise, and I encourage y'all to pray for him and his family as well.
Yes, of course, thinking of the Goodwin family. And neat to see, you mentioned it earlier, Linz. Yes, everyone did something in the game. Byron Jones was wearing a decal on his helmet, and it was the only one that was like this. It was split half and half to honor both of his brothers who are in 2 different branches of the military. So that was pretty cool to see.
I willingly wore this outfit on TV. I got dunked on by Manny and Taylor multiple times throughout this show. Don't give up hope on me, though. You know, it's just one performance. I'll try again tomorrow. It'll be better, just like Chaz Green. We got this, guys.
Hey, you got this, Dave, and you got this, Chaz. Don't stay down, buddy. We're out of time, but we will be back here tomorrow, 5:30 Central, for another Cover 4 presented by JCPenney. Eagles Week. Be here.